Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
Yo.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You were tuned into the UpNUp podcast. I am your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
How you doing, my man?
It's hot still.
Yeah.
Man.
You just came from San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, vacay.
Yeah.
So you just brought the sun out here with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was already out here, but it's cool. I brought some more.
Brought a little bit more. Yeah, man. For those of you first-time listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. Hence the name UpNUp. This platform is created to cultivate the culture and, share stories of amazing, talented individuals who are going after their dreams, their goals, their visions, and, staying on the UpNUp and letting nothing stop them, Before we get to it, I do want to shout out all the supporters, all the listeners, the viewers, those who've been tapped in. We appreciate it. Make sure to rate, subscribe, review. You can listen to the episodes on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that. Now, I'm sure it's a consistent theme on the show. If you've been paying attention, we never fall short with our guests. We always got special guests on deck, right?
Always,
right? At this point, it's a norm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be acting like ourselves if we didn't, right? And today's guest, I would say, he's a man whose book of success I think we could all take a page out of, right? Maybe a couple pages, if
Yeah.
I would say he's an inspiration to all athletes, young and old, out here, not just in this region, but just all over the world, I would say. Positive representative for our community, for our culture, definitely. And to kind of give you a little rundown on some of the things he's been able to accomplish in his life thus far, he's an 11-time NCAA All-American, 5-time conference champion, 3-time indoor U.S. bronze medal winner, and member of the Team USA as a professional long jumper. Our guest is none other than the athletically decorated and culturally celebrated Norris Frederick. Can we get a round of applause for my guy in the building right here? Yes.
Yo.
How you doing, my guy?
I'm chilling, man. How y'all living?
Good. Living my best life, right?
Okay.
We ain't going back and forth, but thank you for coming to the show, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, we appreciate it. Now, I don't know if you're familiar, but we usually start the show with the quote of the day. It's something to kind of get our minds right, get the vibe right, set the mood, and my guy, he's a wordsmith over here. He's a man. He got the quotes.
I try.
Okay.
I'm still working on it.
What you got for me today, my guy?
All right, today, quote of the day is success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come. You know who said that?
Who said that?
The Rock.
I was about to say Norris
Dwayne
Frederick.
Johnson? You said who?
I was about to say Norris Frederick said it, but The Rock is cool.
You just got to put a little spin on it and make it yours, right?
So I ain't gonna lie, but that quote,
the
reason why I brought that up is because I just met you officially today, but I've been following you on social media for a while, and you've been consistent, bro. So
that means we're doing our job, man.
Yeah, man. And so we bring in the quotes, obviously, to set the mood, but also to tie directly to our guest story, right?
Exactly.
And I think consistency is a consistent theme with, the Norris Frederick story and the journey. But before we kind of get into everything you're currently involved in, I do want to kind of take it back, let's take it back and talk about your early upbringing. Where did it start for you? Where did you grow up?
Yeah. So I'm a product of South Seattle, Rainier.
Shout out.
Shout out. Single parent. Father was in the picture. Both, parents, struggle with like alcohol, abuse and domestic violence and things like that. So, at a very young age, I was exposed to a lot of things, that even as an adult, I think it'd be hard to kind of digest. So, I found my love for sports. I was a basketball player, and it was one thing where I wasn't judged by the way that I looked. I was only judged by how many points I could score, or whatever the situation was, and it was freedom. It was athletic freedom for me. So, man, I don't.
Well, no, because you brought up an interesting topic. For young men in our culture growing up, they say you either rap or hoop, right?
Oh, for sure.
But I feel like you kind of touched on why those options are therapeutic too at the same time with a lot that's going on around them. So kind of who or what kind of planted those early seeds in you to kind of go towards athletics as opposed to, anything else that you could have explored?
Well, I mean, it was just something to kind of keep me off the streets. As a young black kid, teenager, male, adult, whatever. Our path is pretty much built for us. Once we get to a certain age, you never hear, a 7-year-old back then talking about, I'm going to be president of the United States, or I'm going to be the principal or the mayor. You don't hear that.
That's true.
Because the things that we're designed to do is just like you said, either if we're not dribbling the ball, we're doing something as far as entertainment, or we're chasing the streets. So I saw all of that, and I did it all.
Yeah.
To be completely honest,
Yeah.
but some things I was just better at.
Yeah, that's what it gets to, right? Like I think we all tried our hands in sports, right, growing up. But I think you know when you have something, and I think some people know they have something and they don't nurture it. But I don't think that was the case for you, right?
No, and I'm a numbers guy,
Okay.
So I like numbers, I like stats, and one stat that I keep, extremely close to my heart is 1 out of every 5 minorities, or black males, for the sake of this conversation, is going to be incarcerated. 1 out of every 3 minorities is going to be incarcerated.
That's real.
So I don't want to be a statistic. That is not a statistic that I want to have on my belt. So, when we designed, Team Frederick, we kept all these things in mind. What can we do to give back? Because with all the talent that we have in the state of Washington and in the Seattle area, a lot of these guys come back, but they come back in hopes to sell out an arena, right?
Yeah.
They don't come back to. A lot of, I don't want to say that. Very few of them come back and try to build up what's going on in the community.
Yeah.
They, with every problem, there needs to be a resolution. How can we fix this?
Yeah.
And I want to build that bridge.
Yeah.
So for those who do follow me on Instagram, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's the thing. We all have platforms.
Big time.
Whether it's you have a great influence or a small amount of influence, you have influence, right? Whether
Somebody's watching.
Somebody's watching. Even if even if it's within your own family, you got young siblings and young cousins who look up to you, and if it's someone in your position, you have the masses looking, right? And that's an important responsibility. We always talk about that. You know, and using your influence.
But it's
for sure.
What we've been hearing in the media now is, how the NFL has been taking their platforms and using it for evil. But I don't see that as the case. Miley Cyrus is in my eyes, extremely intelligent. She had a quote that said, "You guys wanted me to pour my heart out and tell you why I am the way that I am. And then when I did that, you guys criticized me and beat me down and tore me down to make me feel like I was nothing." So if I relate my life in comparison to what she goes through, in high school, if I mess up at a basketball game or a track meet, it's seen by just a few people. At the professional level, the whole world globally gets to see my screw up,
Yeah.
So one thing that I've tried my best to do is make it seem or make it appear, and it's the truth, that I'm extremely tangible.
Yeah.
I hurt the same way you hurt.
Exactly.
I feel the same things you feel.
Transparency.
Big time.
That's real.
You may think as a professional athlete, representative of Team USA, that I'm numb to criticism, or I'm numb to people calling me names and saying that I'm not this or I'm not that. But no, it hurts the same.
Yeah, we're all human.
We're all human.
We're all human.
And who said it? I think Tiger Woods said it. He was like, "I didn't by choice be a role model. So you guys are mad because I made a mistake as an adult and say I affected all these kids that were coming beneath me. That wasn't my choice to be a role model." And I hear it, right? I don't agree with it, but I hear it.
Yeah.
And it's tough, as an athlete, because you're held to a different standard by all means, by all the meanings of that word. The standard is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And so
that's I think with the social media too is making it even more you can see all that stuff,
Yeah.
So it's I don't know.
Big time.
Yeah. So I know how it might feel for an athlete to like really like see all that stuff, because there's like even athletes like, for example, Kevin Durant, like we see, and he's like,
oh yeah,
he's like sensitive to that stuff. So
burner, you got a burner
like,
account.
Yeah,
He created
exactly,
a burner
you know,
account,
so.
like and so let's take it kind of from your early years. I want to kind of get to the trajectory.
Let's get it.
If we can do that. Now, coming out of high school, you were seen as one of the top athletes, not just, track stars or basketball players, but athletes in general. You did were able to receive the Gatorade Athlete of the Year award. Am I correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
For sure.
It's a big deal,
And at the time, I didn't know.
Yeah, right. You're just doing you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I graduated high school, I was the #1 recruit in the country and the most decorated athlete in our state history.
Say that.
Damn.
Yeah, and to me, it wasn't about the notoriety. It wasn't about the medals. It wasn't about the achievements, because there was such a bigger fight. For the first group of years of my life, I was always told the things that I wasn't able to accomplish and where my life was gonna be. When you sit down as a 4th grader and your elementary school principal tells you by the time that you're 16, if you're not dead, you're gonna be doing a life sentence behind bars, because that's where that was the path that I was paving for myself.
And it affects you as a child.
And it does.
It does. For real.
And I kind of took that, and I was like, well, that's not going to be me. And he looked at me and was just kind of laughed, like, yeah, I've heard that before. He's been around the block. This isn't his first rodeo. So there was a bigger fight. I remember my first track meet as a sophomore. I had never run track a day in my life. Didn't even know Roosevelt High School had a track team, right? I go out, and I'm like, look, Coach, I don't want to be here. Let's be honest. I'm just going to do my time. I'm going to keep my head down and be done. Yeah. That sounds like you're in jail, right? I'm just going to do my time, keep my head down, and stay out the way.
And get out when I get out.
And get out when I get out.
Yeah.
That first meet, I remember showing up, and I didn't even know what high jump spikes were. I didn't know what long jump spikes were. I had my basketball uniform on, and I had some feelers.
Hey.
Because we couldn't afford Nikes, right?
Yeah.
So we had some feelers that were like secondhand. And I tied them up. I ran in a circle as fast as I could. And when I had enough speed to jump, I just jumped over the bar. And I ended up winning that track meet. And I jumped 6 feet 4 inches. It was the highest jump in the state at that time.
Wow. As a sophomore.
And I had never done this before.
Wow.
So my coach walked over and was like, huh. And I was like, Coach, since I'm here, I'm just going to go on and win the state championship. Now, a lot of people may construe that as like, oh, you're cocky.
Yeah.
When you put something out there like that, like you're making other people hold you accountable. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I waited until the entire team was around me to be like, I'm going to win the state championship in the high jump. Right? The next meet, I go out there and I blast them boys again. Everybody was like, it may have been a fluke.
Yeah.
Maybe the bar wasn't really as sick.
Right?
But nah. Like, it hurt more for me to lose than it felt good for me to win. So I didn't want to lose.
That's real.
That's
Yeah,
real.
That's real. That's
So
real.
I went on that year as a sophomore and jumped 6 feet 8 inches and won my first state championship.
Wow.
The following year, I added the long jump. Never done that before, right? Went out there, won the high jump and the long jump as a junior. As a senior, I went out and I was like, Coach, I want to try the triple jump. And this is 2 weeks before the state championship. Never done it before. I placed second at the state meet and didn't even take all my jumps because I wanted to go after the state record in the high jump. So I ended up winning 5 state championships in 3 years, which placed me as the highest decorated athlete in our state history. Not to mention, as a 17-year-old, I was the first athlete in U.S. history to qualify for Team USA in the high jump and the long jump. And I went over to Italy, never been out the country before.
This Junior Olympics?
No, this is the World
Okay.
Championship.
Damn.
This is for grown folk, right?
It's lit.
So I go out here at 17 years old, get on a plane. Well, first, I didn't want to go, right? They told me I was going to like a place called Tuscany, Italy. Child, please, I ain't going. I ain't heard nothing like that before in my life, right? So I was like, yeah, I'll be at the airport. We didn't show up.
Really?
I got all my USA stuff shipped to the house. I was Goji, right?
Yeah.
They sent somebody back from Italy to drive to my house to pick me up, take me to the airport, and bring me over.
What?
Bruh. I don't know if y'all have been to Italy, but those flights are no joke, bruh. So for somebody to do a back-to-back Europe trip in less than 5 days. She was tight when she pulled up.
Wait a minute. That sounds like
That's crazy.
that sounds like a higher power working over here, man.
So like, yeah, and that's what it was. Like once I got
crazy.
there, they were like, we can't have you doing that. Like you are the future of this sport, and we want to see what you can do at this level.
Wow.
So I got 11th in the high jump and 7th in the long jump. And that was like the first real loss that I've ever taken in my life. And it destroyed me.
Do you think it was because you didn't take it seriously early on, or you just kind of didn't really want to seize that opportunity, and maybe when you got there, you're like, all right, I'll do it?
Well, like, no, I mean, I'll rise to the level of the competition at any time.
Okay.
But like, think about this, and this is the perfect example. So if we think of some of our favorite athletes, let's think about LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, right? We idolize these guys, right? Got posters on the wall growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
Now imagine you fast forward 5 years of your life, and all of a sudden you're on the same line at the free throw line with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant. What do? Do you idolize? Or is that just another dude in the way of your competition?
Nah, you compete.
You compete, right?
Yeah.
I'm going against people that have Olympic gold medals and world championship medals. And I'm over here like looking at these guys like, oh my gosh, like this is the real deal.
I'm here, yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
It's hard not to clap your hands when you see your idol do something phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because like you're on the same competition, right?
Yeah.
Or it's hard when you see a dude literally from the country of China that's literally 5 feet 4 inches, high jump 7 feet 7 inches.
God damn.
And you look at him and you're like, oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Because I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
That's wild.
But like, and you try to walk up to this dude to congratulate him, and he looks at you because he legitly does not know the words that are coming out of your mouth. Like, I saw a black dude over there that had dreads. I walk up to him like, yo, bruh, where's the cafeteria at? He didn't speak anything but Spanish or but French. I had never in my life seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You take a dude from South Seattle that just got a passport days before that trip, put him in a foreign country with people that look exactly like him, but don't talk like him.
Yeah.
Bruh.
So that takes a mental toll too.
100%.
I would say, because I always say this about like education. A lot of times you can be in a classroom. Let's say I'm the only black guy in a class full of white people. People are like, oh well, you guys are all learning with the same materials and this, that, and the third. But the environment that you're learning in does affect your performance, right?
Sure.
So I feel like that's similar to that sport, right? And to track,
100%.
Being comfortable with the environment.
Well, think about this. How many times are you sitting in your elementary school class, middle school class, or high school class being like, I'm never going to need to use Spanish a day in my life? Like, what am I doing?
I mean, there were some bad mamacitas in my school.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
It was history for me,
But yeah, you're right.
Nah,
Legitimate use. Nah.
But yeah,
You're
like,
right.
and I wind up in Puerto Rico. They don't speak nothing but Spanish. I'm over here thinking like plantains or potatoes. I'm more in the button like I want all of that. And that joint come out like I didn't want to know banana, brother. But like these are the things that I didn't take serious when I was in school.
Yeah.
Like my whole life right now is built off of percentages and meters, right? Like math was one of my favorite subjects, but like, bruh, you're gonna take 15% of blah blah blah. Like, bruh, now we gotta have a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So like, these are things that you never ever would pay attention to when you're in middle school or in high school, because like, for me, I'll speak on behalf of me. Like, I wanted to be the cool dude.
Yeah.
I wanted people not to know that I was smart, but know that I was down for everything, right?
Yeah.
And like, you go through these identity crises, and then once you get to college, like, you kind of start over, but it's like more mellow than it was in high school.
Yeah.
And then you get to your junior and senior year, and you realize, like, man, nah, I ain't skipping this class,
Right.
bro. Because real life is about to hit me.
Exactly. And I don't know why, man. It's weird. Like, we all find ourselves doing that at certain times where we kind of scale back. Like, we're consciously scaling ourselves back and holding ourselves back. Like, nah, let me not show that side of me, And it's real.
And I love. So my girlfriend, she's right over here. How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
So she came home and was like, you need to watch this, Ellen DeGeneres and Kanye thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, all right.
Sounds
Right.
entertaining.
I think I seen that one too.
Right? This whole time, society had me thinking that Kanye was a mental case. Right? Kanye is not stupid. Like, when we can't identify somebody else's thought patterns, we put them in a box and we claim that there's something
We
that
don't
they're
understand them, so they're crazy.
not. Right?
Yeah.
People are scared of that, bro.
Big time.
What they don't understand. But
So he says society tells us that we only can be good at one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're good at multiple things, we're not giving 100% to everything. Let me ask you this. Can you talk on the phone and drive?
I do it all the time.
You do it all the time.
All the time.
You're good at that, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you dribble a ball and walk?
Yep.
So we can do multiple things at one time and be phenomenal at them.
Yeah.
But society's telling us, like, you can't host your own podcast and then work another job and then be a good parent because that's too much on your plate.
Yeah.
So like when we think about these things, like, oh no, like I'm stuck in this dead end job because this is the best for me right now. I went to school and got a degree in this.
Yeah.
Like, no.
You know what's crazy? That brings up something. So I always say this. It's like I feel like the system was never set up for us, and you know, the fact that we are where we're at this very moment lets me know that we've already exceeded the expectations they had for us. So at this point, anything you do, you're just running up the score.
For sure.
Right? So when you have that mentality, it's like, yo, man, I'm running up the score. I've been exceeded what was supposed to happen, you know, allegedly or whatever. So, but now let's get into, so you kind of touched on college, and you know, I know you're Husky, and you know I'm a Coug. We're Cougs, but it's cool.
Hey, it's
you
all
know?
good.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all good.
It's all about unity right here. You know.
Hey, I feel it.
But I do want to touch on your experience, you know, being a Husky and kind of going into that next level, because there's a lot of people that watch this show and they may be athletes, right? Or they may be aspiring athletes. And, you know, I feel like your story and kind of how you were able to capitalize once you got to UW can definitely cut through for a lot of people here.
For sure.
So talk about, you know, how you got in there and what was that like?
You know, so freshman year was a huge challenge within itself. Similar thing. So look at it like this. You're 18, right? For the past 17 years of your life, your parents are waking you up. The school calls back home when you don't show up to class.
Yep.
The smallest class that I had my freshman year at the University of Washington was 450 people.
Goddamn.
Right?
That's
If I'm not showing up to class, who's going to call? Right? Like, not only that, but like my dorm floor had 100 people on it. It was the first time in my whole life that I lived next door to two women that I didn't know. Right?
freedom.
Distractions,
Yeah.
like choices, you know, like everything, difficulties, and then you had to study. Oh, and then you had to be a phenomenal athlete, right? And then October 17th rolls around and I get a phone call from my mom, right? It's like 2:30 in the morning. And she tells me, like, you need to come home right now. And she's bawling, crying. I just bounced. Didn't even ask any questions. I'm a mama's boy.
Yeah,
Took my roommate's
for sure.
car and bounced.
Yeah.
I get to the house, and all the lights were on. I mean, it's unusual at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's in the backyard, like, holding herself, crying. And I'm like, I just gave her a hug. And she told me, she was like, Norris, your dad's been murdered. He's been stabbed to death. And, like, my heart dropped. But at the same time, like, you know, as a young, you know, black male, like, I wanted, like, Mom, I got this.
Be strong.
Yeah, be strong. Yeah.
So I was like, where's my little brother at? And she was like, he's in my bed asleep. Little brother's 9 years old at the time. I walk in there and I said, I wake him up. And he looks at the clock and was like, what are you doing home from college? And I said, no, I just wanted to check in on you. And he was like, what are you doing here? And I said, something happened to Big Norris and he's not coming back anymore. And I saw his eyes start to kind of crystallize over. And I said, don't cry. I need you to hold down the house because I need to go handle some business. And he said, okay. And I said, go take care of Mom. So I walk outside and I call my older brother. And he was over on the East Coast at the time. And he was like, I'll be home in the morning. We can handle our business. Now, for those who don't know anything about South Seattle, like back then, that's where like the goons hung out. I don't know how it is now.
Yeah.
But I called some people back from the neighborhood, and they were like, we'll meet you at your school. We'll pick you up. So I go to my dorm, and I'm sitting on the stairs, and I call one of my best friends. It's like probably like 3:30 in the morning now. And I was like, I'm going to do something really stupid, and I just want to say that I care about you, and I hope everything happens the way it's supposed to happen for you. She hung up the phone and shot over to my dorm, and I was just sitting there, and she just jumped into my arms and was like, come upstairs. And I said, for what? She was like, because I know if I'm with you, you won't do anything stupid. So we go upstairs, and I'm thinking, like, the person that killed my dad is still alive. She hasn't been caught. She hasn't turned herself in. Like, she's clearly under the influence. So, like, I need to go home and protect my
So
family.
you already suspected who?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I slide back to the house, and my front door is wide open. And my mom's car was still there, but I didn't hear anybody in the house. So my dad had hit a gun. And I grabbed the gun, and I grabbed the knife. And I went into the center room in the house, and I kept having these, like, daydreams, because, like, now, like, the sun's starting to poke up a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I kept having these, like, daydreams, and, like, I was wide awake. And this lady was, like, popping up and pulling a gun and shooting me. Because the person that had killed my father was his girlfriend over a domestic violence dispute. And she calls the house. This is a true story. She called the house and was like, "I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to do it." And I said, you're dead, right? It's over for you.
Yeah.
And she hung up and then called back from a blocked number. Now, we had caller ID, so I knew exactly where she was at. So my boys show up, and they pick me up, and we head down to, like, the Belltown Pioneer Square area. And I see her. She's, like, just walking the streets, scratching her arms. Like, she was strung out.
Yeah.
And they gave me the little pistol and was like, "Handle your business." I said, "Nah, man, this isn't for me. Take me back." So they took me back to the house, and I sat there, and my mom called and was like, "I just identified the body, and it is your dad." I hadn't even cried yet. Adrenaline's pumping through my blood.
Yeah.
I go to school the next day. It's a Sunday. And I go back to my dorm, and I'm just kind of, like, sitting there. And then Monday morning rolls around. And I couldn't tell you anything that happened Monday, except for when I went to practice. I remember going to practice, and one of the coaches told me, "I don't care what happened to you over this weekend. When you get to practice, that's all you care about." And I looked at her, and I was like, "I've never hit a woman in my life, but I want to punch you square in your face." So I took my uniform off, and I threw it at her, and I walked out. The head coach that manages 120 athletes at the University of Washington leaves his practice and comes to my dorm and was like, "I'm not letting you leave." And I said, "Coach, like, this is bigger than you. Get out of my way."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm not going to let you be a statistic. You're going to graduate from college whether I have to pay for it myself, but you are not leaving." I packed up my bag, and I'm like, "Bruh, move out the way or else." And then my mom was like, "Or else what?" So my mom came around the corner. He had got her to come. And my mom's heard me cuss maybe like six times my whole life. And that was one of them, right? So I was already shook. So she was like, "Sit down and shut the F up. You're going to listen to everything that this white man has to say to you." That's exactly how she said it. For those who know my mom is not PC. She is a typical black mom that's going to keep it 100 all the time. Doesn't matter where we're at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's telling me all these things like, "I want to be the father figure. Your dad's done. We get it. I want to be the father figure." And I told him, I was like, "You know what type of responsibility that is?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "All right." We shook hands. He said, "I don't want to see you at practice. All I want you to do is go to school, and we'll figure it out from there." He leaves. I called my high school coach, and I said, "I need something from you." And he said, "What do you need?" And I said, "I need you to coach me." I'm familiar with that dude, right?
Yeah.
I'd only been in college for 30 days.
And this is Roosevelt High School.
Roosevelt High School.
Okay.
So my coach was like, "Be here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So I get up, take the bus over there, handle my lightweight, go back to class, go home and go to sleep. Again, do it again, all season long. January 17th rolls around. It's the first time that I'm in the Husky uniform. It's the first time that I'm competing as a collegiate athlete. And I get down there, and my event coach was like, "What are you doing here? You're not going to compete. Take my uniform off. I haven't seen you at practice in months." And my head coach was like, "Oh, he's been with me. He's ready to go." So my event coach is like, "Whatever," and walked off. My head coach looked at me and was like, "Don't embarrass me." You know, that day, I had the #1 jump in the world for 6 months. And it was like everything in my life that I had ever worked for, like everything lined up for that specific day at that specific time. And I did everything right. When the odds are against me as a professional athlete, that's where I flourish the most. When people are telling me all the things that I can't do, that's when I show up, and that's when I compete. When I do all these motivational talks and all these speaking around the country, I hate when people are like, "Well, it's because I don't have a dad." For those who believe in a higher power, this higher power has installed two things in us, right? Before we make a terrible mistake, your stomach begins to turn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do something really, really well, you get butterflies in your stomach, right? So you're subconsciously and consciously making decisions knowing that your body's fighting you to tell you to do the right thing or the wrong thing, but you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you have a father figure. I did, and I didn't, and I don't, right? But, like, you know right from wrong. And in our culture, you know, like, we're always trying to play the victim, and we're always trying to blame other people for the things that we do or that we don't have. Like, nobody gave you that sentence, you know, in prison. Like, you earned it.
Yeah.
And there are some cases where, you know, some BS happens. But, like, you never hear of a bank robber, you know, robbing multiple banks and getting away with it. You only hear about the bank robber getting caught. Because if I rob a bank once, like, okay, cool, I'm going to do it again because I didn't get caught. Like, it's addictive, right? Winning and bebeing competitive to me is addictive. Like, I compete in everything, right? Like, she won't even play board games with me because, like, it will literally...
it gets ugly.
It will literally divide the house.
You know, no, and I'm glad you brought that up. And thank you for sharing that as well. Appreciate that. You know, when it comes to athletes and winning, right? You know, we always see it as like, you don't know what really fueled them to want to win. A lot of times you see, like, take LeBron James, for instance. They're like, oh, he wants to win a championship so he can catch up to Michael Jordan. Do you really think that's the reason why he's working hard every day? Maybe not. Maybe it's a small part in the back of his head that he wants to be on that level. Who knows? But you never really know what goes into wanting to win for an athlete. And I think,
big time,
you know, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, which is, for you, it was kind of going against that resistance that you've been facing.
Big time.
You know?
And
that's good.
And I love that analogy with LeBron James. Because let's think about this, man. Like, Michael Jordan hasn't played basketball since 2001, right? Anybody that was born in 2002 and above has never seen this man play a game of basketball.
Facts.
But yet, I'll stay the night in front of a Nike Town, wake up at 2:30 in the morning to pre-order these shoes, and I've never seen this man play. That's a legacy.
Yeah,
that's true.
But how you gonna catch a legacy? You can't.
It's tough, man. It's cultural.
It's cultural.
It's ingrained in, like, society. I always said Michael Jordan. I think Michael Jordan is the most marketable athlete of all time.
Ever.
Ever. Like,
he is a, like. So I was signed with Nike for 4 years. So Nike came in and told us their whole marketing plan for the 4 quarters that they do, right? They said that if you were to take LeBron James and Kobe Bryant's brand and merge them, financially it still wouldn't equate to what Michael Jordan is. So you think about that. The two best basketball players of the 2000 and above generation can't even catch up to the same dude that stopped playing basketball in 2000.
I have a theory about that. I think it's because Jordan was at a time when there wasn't as many distractions as there are now, right? Now, I think Jordan is by far the legacy can't be touched or can't be reached. But I think that does play into it a little bit. You know, back then people had nothing else to do but watch Jordan on TV. Now, you know, yeah, Kobe's killing, LeBron's killing, but, you know, hey, man, you know, I'm on my IG, I see this little baddie, you know, like,
for sure.
You know, Drake just dropped the album, he beefing with him, you know, so many distractions out there, but
let me ask you guys
But I agree to a certain extent, though.
Going off of the distractions, how distracting is it to hear LeBron James get a 200 or a, what is it? What was his contract?
154.
154.
I know.
He got $54 million to play basketball.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's biggest contract was what? In the prime of sports.
Oh, man, it was nowhere near that.
Nothing near that.
Yeah.
So what's the distraction, right? One person's doing it off of pure love and love for the game. He hates to lose.
That's
right. One person's doing it because, like, right now he has financial freedom.
That's true.
Basketball is the only thing he needs to focus on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you sign Michael Jordan for $50,000 as a Nike athlete, on which that's what it was, right? What is $50,000 going to get you? $50,000, right? That wouldn't even cover my mortgage.
And
especially as an athlete.
As an athlete, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
So talk about that a little bit, because you do have experience with partnerships and sponsorships for you and all that you've done, especially being on Team USA now. You know, for athletes out there, I think you found a way to transcend just the field.
For
right?
sure.
And
yeah.
and the long jump pit. Is that what it's called? Is
Yeah.
But you found a way to transcend that and really have impact outside of that. And I feel like for a lot of athletes, I hate seeing it. You brought up the NFL when we were talking about earlier. I hate seeing NFL players hesitant to protest because they feel pigeonholed. Like, oh, I can't talk because this is the only way I can eat. And coming up, all they want to do is play football. And these owners know that all they want to do is play football and nothing else. And then you take the anomalies like LeBron, who has businesses and things like that. So talk about the importance of really educating yourself on what you can do with that platform.
Well, I mean, behind every business, right, is going to be a stronger woman, right?
Yeah.
So I have the ability to sit down with my girlfriend and she reiterates all the time, like, you're more than just a long jumper. Like, you have so many great things about you that you really don't even understand. And it's like, you can say that because, like, you see outside of me. I only see what's right in front of me, right? So when she says something like, well, we should look at X, Y, and Z. We should look at this, or you should go down this road and try that. Like, it's like newfound territory, right? I'm a man on the moon, right?
Hell yeah.
But, like, when I reach out to a company that has nothing to do with track and field, they don't have the same type of shoe contract deals. Like, so we can literally build whatever we want into that.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody got all pissed off or confused. Like, why are you sponsored by a candy company? Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Why
sponsored
wouldn't I
by a candy?
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to have this healthy lifestyle. Like, okay, I'm not perfect, right? If I go out here and make a smoothie and post all the ingredients, people are going to criticize it, right? If I just go out here and post, like, I like water. Well, what kind of water? Is it smart water? Like, somebody's always going to have something to say, you know? But, like, if I'm in cahoots with, the person that helps me run my business and, like, flourishes my career, like, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
So, like, we'll go after these companies that have nothing to do with my sport. Like,
well,
go ahead. But the good thing about that is, like, because earlier you were saying you wanted people to know that you're, like, tangible, pretty much,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like when you do a candy thing, where I'm like, oh, he's just like me. He's human, He likes candy just like I do.
It's relatable.
Yeah, so
it
Big time.
is. Yeah. And I think that another thing about that is, you oftentimes keep seeing the same old story, same old song. It's like a broken record, This athlete signed Adidas, and then here comes the next big thing, Adidas, and the next big thing, Adidas. It's like, bro, what else are you really attaching yourself to separate yourself from just that? Because that company's eating regardless.
Yeah.
Adidas is like, we're going to get the next big thing, and that's why I even respect, LeVar Ball and everything they're doing with the Triple Bs, because it's like you said, newfound territory. No one's really done it like that.
and, like,
that's big.
Yeah, but if we just open our eyes and see how many opportunities are out there, like, I spoke with one of my friends, and she lives in Indiana. She was like, oh, you're gonna hate it out there. There's not a lot of opportunity out there. Like, boom, 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 all this. Like, people just kind of live a different life. What? Like, that don't make any sense to me, right?
Yeah.
When and I'm going to ask you guys a serious question. When have you guys ever walked into a room and you're like, this isn't for me. There's too much motivation in here. Right? Like,
nah, I can't say I've ever had that experience.
It's like, as I'm partnering with these, with this confection company, like, I asked, I said, hey, can we do like an athletic TED Talk? She was like, I love that idea, right? Here's what we'll do for you. We're going to rent out Purdue University's basketball arena. We'll fill it. You get the athletes that you want to have come out and do your thing.
Wow.
Right?
That's dope.
Is that not opportunity?
Yeah.
It's also creative control.
Creative control.
Yeah.
They can't tell me anything having to do with the Team Frederick brand. She looked me in my face, and it was like I almost wanted to cry, right? So Red Vine also owns the company Sour Patch. Or Sour Punch, I'm sorry. And Sour Punch are like those straws.
Yeah, the little straws. Yeah.
She told me, this is the VP of global marketing for this brand. I can't imagine Sour Punch without Norris Frederick in it. That's what she told me, right? I'm a track and field athlete. I'm supposed to live this healthy life. You can ask her right now. I've had 3 root canals in the past 2 years. Right? I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah,
bruh.
yeah. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's about the result too.
That's
right.
it.
If the sour punches are holding you back on the field, then we're gonna have to talk about that.
We're gonna talk about it, right?
Yeah, but if not, then keep doing your thing.
You know?
For sure.
Because like when Marshawn Lynch pulled out that handful of Skittles, like he got fined. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But Skittles came all the way
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
exactly.
Product placement's everything, man.
Everywhere.
It's everything, man. So I also do want to touch on, you being a representation of Team USA, man. Like that's a big deal. That's huge, And I remember you had the campaign Road to Gold, and that was for you to get to. Was it London?
Yeah.
Summer Olympics in London. So what are we looking forward to right now? What's on the horizon? Obviously, what is it? 2020 Olympics? Am I right?
Yeah. When is it?
When is it? I don't know.
2020.
Us regular folk, we
2
just turn on
years
the
after
TV.
FIFA. That's how I know.
You said this after FIFA?
Yeah, 2 years.
There we
2
go.
years after.
Seriously.
Yeah, so what we're doing is, with track and field, just like anything in life, like there's no long term. You never want to think long term.
For sure.
Because when you think long term, you get complacent, right? So everything that we do in preparation for the Tokyo Games or in preparation for anything is we just go week by week or day by day. If I have something going on, if I'm going to compete on Friday, competition on Friday is the most important thing in my life, right? If I lose that competition, we're gonna figure out why.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So long term is what's gonna happen at the end of the week,
Got you.
right? Short term is gonna happen what happens at the end of that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just kind of maneuver in that space.
Got
And we
you.
keep that space so sacred that nobody can come in and penetrate it.
That's true. You don't want to throw it off. It has to
Never.
be a natural progression, and you have to be present, right?
Big time.
Yeah,
Big
that's
time.
good.
And I remember training for the 2012 games. For 4 years, I kept a journal of everything that I ate, who I hung out with, how much water I drank, the stress levels, and what time and how many hours I went to sleep. Every day for 4 years.
Wow.
And people are
Yeah.
like, well, why would you do that, right? That's a little compulsive and that's a little obsessive. But you think about it. On Tuesday, if I had the best practice of my life, I can look back on Monday and Sunday and see what I ate, who I was with, who stressed me out, who didn't stress me out.
Wow.
So when Saturday rolls around, I'll hang out with those people and eat that same meal and do those same things, right? So by the time that competition comes, there's no reason why I shouldn't be where I'm supposed to be.
You're documenting everything.
Big
too.
time.
That's
So
real.
2011 rolls around, and then 2012 gets there. 2012 was the hardest year of my entire life, right? I called the cable company. I'm talking to Comcast like, hey, cut my internet, cut my cable off. Seriously, cut it all off. I want no distractions, right? Cut it off. For breakfast, I had a 2-egg omelet, a cup of a smoothie, a glass of water, and 2 pieces of toast. For lunch, I had a chicken breast and a salad. For dinner, I had blackened salmon and a Caesar salad every day for a year.
Every day.
I was so focused. I was so focused that
Wow.
I wasn't a pleasure to be around. I didn't want people to hang out. I didn't want, what are we going to do? What are you going to come to my house and do what? We don't got cable or internet. What are we going to do? We going to stare at each other?
Yeah.
Because at 9:30, I'm going to bed whether you're here or not.
Right? You can have some of this black and salmon too.
You can have
want.
some of the black, but I got to get mine first. Right?
That's
But
real.
it's things like that. When you're so focused on something, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Real.
Right?
That's real.
Nothing else matters. And when you meet a woman that has nothing to do with sports, right? She was a cheerleader in college. She understands the schedules and stuff like that. But seeing somebody emotionally snap, right, or physically snap, and then get up and crawl up and be like, I got to do this again tomorrow. It has to be draining, right?
Yeah.
And it has to be defeating at certain times. And then a lot of the time, we have stupid arguments, right? Why are you responding to everybody on your DM? And it's because I want these people to know, when they reach out to me, it's me responding to them. Or why do you get so pissed off when people write negative comments? And it's that's my brand. Imagine you running a business and I'm on your Yelp review just dogging you out. That ruins your business,
Yeah.
right?
Real talk.
So once this is identified, she kind of lets me do me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to post on Instagram, you need about an hour to maintain that post. I'll just leave you alone, right? And it's like, I have never found that anywhere, right? And I've like been on tons of days. Don't take it like that. But like, you meet a ton of different people, right?
Yeah.
And you can identify them within a matter of 30 seconds on what they're here for.
Yeah.
If you're just here to leech, by all means.
Yeah.
I got a place for you, right? But if you're here to be here and you're here to be genuine, I'll open up the doors to my kingdom.
Yeah.
Everybody serves their purpose.
And you know.
And you know
You can just tell.
immediately.
You can just tell.
Immediately.
That's real, man.
It's like it's a cool thing, man. And I'm happy, that I was able to find one, a girlfriend that understands that and can put that into perspective and be selfless in situations when bruh, I'll be like, hey, I want to pick up a new hobby. She'll be like, what is it this time, right? And she'll get equally as excited.
Yeah.
I want to get light bulbs that you can turn off with your cell phone. And she'll be like, I think that's really cool. We go to Home Depot. I spend $49 on one light bulb. She's like, yeah, we should get a bunch. And I asked her about it. I was like, why'd you let me do that? She was like, just let you go through your little phase.
Yeah, right? Wow.
But like, that's like a team player, right? Like that's what, because everybody's like, oh, you need a girl to even you out. I don't. I got a mom that evens me out.
Yeah.
Like I need a support group at home, right? Like this strong fist that can like pick me up when I'm down. Like,
That's real though. I was watching you watched that new Seinfeld show on Netflix with comedians and cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
It was dope. He had Ellen DeGeneres on the show and they were talking about that, and I think Ellen was telling a story about how her wife has an obsession with horses and she just wants to keep buying horses.
Yeah.
And Ellen's like, I'm good. I don't want to buy no more horses. And Jerry's like, well, here's my advice. What I usually do with my wife is I just give her what she wants, keep giving her, let her, like you said, it's kind of like a phase, right? And just letting them go through that. Don't try to stop them from doing that. Just kind of let them be them.
And that's what it is.
Living their truth, if I can call
Big
it that.
time.
Pretty much.
So that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a rocky road. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think people think that the road to success is all rose petals and gold and in my case candy,
Sour punch.
sour punch. But like, no, it's rocky and it's a lot of long nights, early morning. It's like the number one thing that she's ever asked me. She was like, I've never in the 4.5 years that I've known you heard you set an alarm clock.
Wow.
And I was like, I never really thought about that. But like my dreams, I kid you not, and this is gonna sound so corny, my dreams are so loud, bruh, that it will wake me up no matter what day it is. It can be a Sunday. I wake up at 5:45 in the morning.
And that's real, man.
It speaks so loud in my ears that I'll wake up and I'll be like, all right, it's time to do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't set alarms. What's the point, right? Like, I just, that's not for me. I'm not going to be like held. I'm not going to be like boxed in. Like, you got to, like, no.
Yeah.
My life is already structured enough. Like, I don't need an alarm clock telling me when I can't and can't wake up. So like, it's like, hey.
Man, he's on his time.
Yeah.
Man, he's
For
on
real.
on his own time. In control of your time. I like that.
Yes.
So you're saying how like the road to success is not all rose petals and gold.
Yeah.
So if I was an Olympic or wanted to be an Olympic athlete and I was like, Norris, what should I do? Like, where should I start? What would you say to me?
Start with the things that you want to sacrifice, bruh. Everything that you like right now, if you can't live without that for 4 years, it's not for you. It's not for you.
Straightforward.
For real.
Straight like that.
Like, for some people, especially, the younger demographic, like, oh, man, let's go to the club and get these girls, man. Like, that's the first thing they got to bounce. Women are a huge distraction, right? I don't drink. I don't smoke. That could be a huge distraction, right? Sleep. If you don't do that, if you're not sleeping and I'm sleeping, I got an advantage on you, right? There's no calling in sick at practice.
Yeah.
There's always something you can do.
That's real.
Yeah.
Even if you're hurt, you got a broken leg.
You can just
Right?
go run on
For
the
real.
side. That's
You
what
got a broken leg. I've seen people get in the pool with their boot on and run in the pool. I've seen people in the weight room pushing up weight, doing squats with one leg because they want it that bad.
Yeah.
So like, sacrifice, bruh. Whatever you're willing to sacrifice right now is gonna make it so by the time you get to where you need to be, it's all gonna be worth it, right? Because you're never gonna be like, oh, I got here and I didn't have to do anything I didn't want to do.
Not realistic.
That's not real.
Yeah.
That's not
right?
realistic.
So like, yeah, man, sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
Is huge.
Sacrifice. Okay. And got a couple more questions, but I do want to talk about Tokyo, right? Tokyo is on the horizon. What's your mindset right now? Like right now, what are we looking forward to? Like, what's coming up? And it doesn't have to just be, sports related. Yeah. Because you got a lot of things going on as well. But what are some things on the horizon that?
So the biggest thing coming up for me is an anti-bullying campaign on which I partner with.
Yes.
With the Sour Punch and American Licorice brand. It's therapeutic being able to tell my story to a bunch of kids that don't have a lot, or even a bunch of kids that do have a lot, because it puts things back into perspective for me. I saw this interview with Mr. T. And the lady was like, "You have all this money. Why do you wear those cruddy, like those nasty shoes, right? Why do you wear those old beat up shoes?" And he said, "These shoes keep me grounded, because at one point in my life, this is all that I could afford." And it hit me. It hit me hard, right? I can have all the Olympic medals in the world and all the medals that I've ever won. It doesn't mean anything if I can't share that with people, right? So like I said, the biggest thing in my life is what's gonna happen at the end of the week.
That's right.
And gearing up for this engagement over in Indiana, that's what I'm amped about.
That's where you're at right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
that's
fun.
big, and that again, it speaks volumes to what you can do with your platform. It's not just about the athlete. It's going beyond that, being more than that. So here's a question I got for you, and this is a question I ask every guest. And it's something that can kind of sum up what we've kind of been talking about today, but also what's on the horizon. If you can, my brother, what is one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
Fear. That's it.
You want to elaborate?
Yeah, you can elaborate if you want.
Say one word. I know. Man, I'm like, no, because usually people get that one word and they're like, man, I got to tell them why. So,
I'm fearful that I'm not going to be able to achieve the things that I want to achieve, given the time that I'm on this earth, right? So that probably makes sense on why I wake up so early and go to sleep so late. I can operate a full functional day with 4 hours of sleep, multiple days in a row. I'm fearful that one day I'm going to wake up and realize, damn, they're only going to remember me as an athlete. Or damn, I could have changed that one kid's life had I given him 5 minutes of my time in a DM.
That's real.
So it's fear, man. That's one thing that sticks in the back of my head.
And it's one of the most important things we have. It's just about how you channel it, which
big time.
In your case is being channeled in a positive way, and progressive. So, I mean, definitely, we definitely are gonna stay tapped in with everything you got going.
Sure.
Thank you for coming to the show.
No doubt.
And we wish you so much success, man, and just good energy, good vibes moving forward with everything you got going with the Frederick brand and just everything else, man.
Appreciate it.
In general.
For sure. So, you got a website and everything, right?
Yeah, it's just norrisfrederick.com. We keep it humble.
Oh, yeah. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, outside of that, again, thank you. And it's safe to say Norris Frederick is officially a member of the Up and Up. Can we get a round of applause from my guy?
Y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
I'm in the family.
Hey. Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt. Appreciate it,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yes, sir.